Thank you and welcome to the show this morning. The topic this morning is the overthrow of President Mohamed Morsi and the implications for the Middle East. And we have to talk about the overthrow of the President of Egypt, Dr. LMadu, who has been with us on a number of occasions and is still considered to be one of the foremost authorities in reference to the politics as well as some of the social developments in the Middle East. And of course, Dr. LMadu, let me welcome you to the show this morning and let you know how delighted we are to have you here to deal with this special, timely story in reference to what is going on in Egypt. As a matter of fact, you've been with us on a number of occasions talking almost specifically about the president and the Muslim Brotherhood and et cetera. So let's start off by having you to simply give us some information in reference to where we find ourselves today dealing with Egypt.
Yeah, well, you know, last year, or let's say since 2011, when the Arab Spring, started, Tunisia, fired the first shot, successfully. Then Yemen came in, there was a stalemate, and the president was forced to step down, through U.S. pressure. And then you have the Libyan, problem. And then Syria is still, embroiled in the same thing. There was some in Bahrain, that was crushed, with Saudi Arabia's help. Then, of course, with Egypt, after a few weeks demonstration, Mubarak, who was a long-time president, was overthrown. Then Morsi, who is a Muslim Brotherhood candidate, became president last year. The first time Egypt had a civilian president. The first president was Nasser, who was a military man. Sadat came in, he was a military man. Mubarak was a military man. So Morsi was really the first freely elected civilian president in Egypt. And of course, the Muslim Brotherhood, had always wanted power for a long time, since its founding by Hassan el-Banna, in the 20s. So eventually, when it got power, it seems that it didn't know what to do with it. However, they made a lot of mistakes. When Morsi took over, he started behaving here in the Brotherhood as if they had a mandate, which actually they didn't have. It was a close election. So you still had Mubarak holdouts, Christians who were scared and all that, opposing him from the beginning. So actually, they didn't do a good job in trying to carry the Egyptians along. First of all, the first mistake Morsi made was to remove the army chief, Marshal Tantawi, who handed over power to him. An experienced politician would have kept Tantawi on as army chief, close to him, so that he can have an insight into what the army was thinking. And you can understand it's not easy for the army to start saluting a civilian president after so long of, being in charge themselves from behind. So Morsi should have kept Tantawi. So when he removed him, he left some bitterness within the army itself. They felt insulted. So they were looking for opportunity to, get a pound of flesh. Secondly, Morsi started, issuing decrees that were so bizarre, trying to, take dictatorial powers himself, knowing fully well he succeeded somebody who was overthrown for that particular reason. Third, he promised to make, a Christian vice president, but he didn't, carry out that promise. And that alienated him from, the Christian, community that would have supported him, So that was another big mistake. Fourth, he started sticking his nose into the Syrian problem. And the Egyptian army didn't want any part of what's happening in Syria now. Now, a lot of the Muslim Brotherhoods, their members are fighting against the government of President Assad. Because you remember in 1982, over 10,000 Muslim Brotherhood people were slaughtered in the city of Hama for opposing President Assad. So those are still fighting